How many of you remember the Seaway store? Okay, that tells me how long you've been here. I was born in 1927, Pataskala. Daddy moved us here in 1935. Moved on the corner down here where the restaurant is. Now the house was moved because of the Dillon Dam. The basement was in the 790 sea level. We got to remember, anything in 790 sea level here, you're not going to do anything. So these people that think they're going to move into a certain place, they're not going to if it's 790. On the left, as you go up 210, was the Grange Hall. Do you remember the Grange Hall? Don't remember the Grange Hall. Okay.
The apartment.
Yes, it's apartment now, yeah. And
Oh, really? The Staggers apartment?
my house that we lived in on the corner where the restaurant is up on the right where the motorhome sits. They moved it up there. Okay. The big house on the left where Richie lives now is where I worked in 1940. And I took care of 10,000 chickens through that chicken house. I gathered the eggs, I washed the eggs, I shipped the eggs. We had a guy come from New York and pick them up. His name was Joseph Atanasio. And he'd pick up the eggs. And it all had to be white because New York people would not take brown eggs. Okay, we're going on down to 1936. There was a bad drought. And out west, they didn't have food for the cows. And we mowed hay here green and baled it and hauled it out there, my daddy and them did, to feed them cattle. It was real bad, 1936. And then in 37 was a bad flood. And the flood at the time down here where the bridge is now, which was built in 1950, which is going to be built again here before long, the road was only 4 feet high. And the flood took the road out into the cornfield. So when Paul Kent, the contractor to build the bridge, he told Daddy he'd give him $1,000 for the dirt. And that's back in behind the pizza shop there where Daddy built his house down in the bottom, she knows. And he gave him $1,000 for the dirt. And they moved the dirt and built that road up 5 or 6 feet higher so the water wouldn't go over it. The water won't go over it now, or it never has. It could take it out, I guess. In 1940, Daddy bought the property where the pizza shop is now. The house sat beside of it, and it sat for a while, and some kids got in there, played around, and they got it on fire and burned it up. So that's where Daddy had a barn. We had 10 cows. We milked the cows, and we was in the milk business. My brother delivered milk to houses turned down through Hanover.
What happened to your milk business?
Pardon?
What happened to your milk business?
Borden put Daddy out of business.
How'd they do that?
By coming out, and they put quarts of milk out free. That's how big boys can do it. Yeah. The first station was built was where the pizza shop is now. I was with Marathon Oil Company for 40 years, and I put a Marathon station in there. And then later years, we moved it down on the corner. I bought that ground, and there was a house sitting there. So I had the house moved around, and it's on the first street on Steiger's Edition, back on the corner, that big white house. You're up there, look at it. I had that moved. It used to be Frank McKee's house years ago. Daddy also had a sawmill, done a lot of sawmilling during that time.
Where was your sawmill?
Right beside the house, right there. Actually, where the house sits now, as you get down into our campground.
Yeah, to McGee.
Everybody knows where that is, I think.
Where the little brown house.
That was Daddy's farm, so the boys got a hold of it. Now we have a campground down there. So that's kind of nice.
Chester, were there many more forests around here at that time?
Any more what?
Any more forests? Were there more trees than there are now around the village, or before the
No,
farm got here?
no, I don't think so. It's been about the same on that. I can't see too well, I'm sorry. At that time, the people that lived on this road, 668 we called it, and by the way, this was a state highway when I came here. It was called Coshocton Hill Road. And you'd come in from Newark and you'd run this road up through Old Hanover and down into Coshocton. So then the county come in and they made it a county road. And they call it 668 County Road. On top of the hill on the right was Jay Wolford's farm. Across the road from that farm was Russell Farrell's farm. And the big house where Richie Flowers lives now was Lawrence Giffen's farm. And then on the right on up the hill there was Carson's, and Bill Giffen, Frank McKee, Charlie Hillary was down there where Walter lives now. I don't really know where my brother lives, down there across from the pizza shop. Charlie Hillary lived there, and Mary Hamilton lived in the next house up, which I bought, and that was 25 acres, which I turned into Flowers Edition. That was the first edition. Now, how that all happened was in we had a big flood, and 178 people, I think it is, lost their homes and everything in Hanover. It's bad. I mean, people don't realize what them people lost. And there's a memorial down here where the clock is that my son, Dwayne, when he was mayor, put in, and the names are on there. If you ever get a chance, stop and look at it, because it's quite a bunch of people on there.
That's where the old high school was.
In 1947, there was a feed store down here. It was Herb McKnight. You guys probably remember it as Westbrook. But I worked there, and then they got an Alice Schaumer tractor dealer, and we sold Alice Schaumer tractors, and I was the parts man for a long time for him before I went to war. In 1948, we started a fire department. I got some pictures there showing Oddfellows Hall and the old post office and the Rendezvous restaurant we had and the school and all that. And Clarence McKee said, we'll start a fire department. So we did start a fire department, and we bought a 52 Studebaker, and he put a tank on it, and that was our first fire truck. In 1950, the Moran brothers that used to drill a lot out here came to Dad and he said, Lloyd, don't you think it's time for a new bridge? Well, we walked through that bridge many times, the old covered bridge. And my brother tried to scare me every time we go through it.
And it's the one right here.
Right. In 1950, why, it was moved. And the reason for that, the Moran brothers come through there with one of the high 100-barrel tanks and tore all the stringers out in the covered bridge. So we did get a new bridge. And they said it wasn't bad. It only cost us $12,000 on insurance. Back then, that wasn't probably a lot of money, but it cost them a lot more than that today. So Paul Kent, he contracted and built a new bridge in 1950. Okay. In fact, 1950 is when I got married. And we lived on a house at the end, you know where Meadow Drive is, or New Home Drive. This is New Home. Right at the end, across the road. Grandpa built 4 new houses up through there. And they're there today, but this mine had been remodeled, and I lived there in 1950.
Grandpa, was that the one that's in front of the mobile home park?
Yeah.
That was a ball diamond.
Yes.
And,
Ball diamond.
and
You guys-
I built a road going into the ball diamond and built the house at the end there. Yeah, about 1954 or 5, I think. Yeah. Yeah, today it's a trailer court, and I don't even know who owns it. They just sold it here a while back. In 1958, I was elected on the school board, and we built the school on top of the hill. It was Hanover High then, and Warren Shaw, several of us had a meeting, and they voted to name the school. And 3 of them said, we're going to call it Hilltop School. And the other 2 said, no, we're going to call it Licking Valley. So Warren Shaw looked at me and said, Chester, guess what? You're going to get the name of the school. And I did, and I called it Licking Valley. So I got the honors of doing that.
Sounds like that name stuck.
And then we had a big flood in 1959. You all probably remember that. I don't know. 16 flood. And that's when it took Hanover out. And we lost our charter. And they said Hanover wouldn't be a village no more. So John Watkins' picture there, he was an engineer at that time. And Bill Giffen, he come to me and he said, hey, can you get a street laid out and some lots, and we can save Hanover because he'll give us the charter back. So I did that in 1954 and called it Dollar Drive. You know where Dollar Drive is? That was the first street. Then the next street was Chester Drive, and then New Home Drive was named after the lodge because the lodge came in and I gave them a lot. And they built there, and then Carl Wells came in and bought the lot where the drive-through is now, and he put the first grocery store in. And then the fire department here wanted a lot, and this was pretty low in here, and I had some ground over here, so I have a dirt pan and I can move dirt. So I moved the dirt over in here, leveled it up, and give them a lot, and we built the firehouse. That's how we got it. And the American Legion the same way. I give them a lot up there, but when they built, it was real low in front, and I had to bring the dirt from the back up around and built that all up for them so they could get into the building. 1959 flood course with Dillon Dam was being built. And I always blamed the government on that. Maybe I was wrong, because we got a bunch of rain at that time, and the Dillon Dam was being built, but they didn't have a spillway. It wasn't done. And I think they dammed Licking River back on us, and then Hanover got flooded. I'm sure that's what happened. Yeah, 178 homes was destroyed at that time.
Chester, if you would, just to appease me, you talked about old Hanover Village and what it had. You talked about the beauty parlor, you talked about the barber shop.
Yeah.
Can you go through a list of those as you remember them?
Sure.
Kind of point out what was
As you go through the underpass, on the right was barber shop. Frank Miller. Cost me $25 to get my hair cut. That's fact. You go on down, and we had a Presbyterian church. We had a Oddfellow Hall. We had a Rendezvous. We had the post office, and we had McKee's building, and we had Joe Bright's garage, which was right next to the creek there. Jenny Evans' store was across the creek, and on the left was a Methodist church we went to, and on the right was a parsonage. And you go on down where, of course, put new 16 in, took it out. Arthur Acord had a Sahia station down there, and across the road there was a pure oil station.
So how far did the old village go across 16? Did it go quite a ways down?
No, just about. I don't know whether they incorporated more in. On up the road was a bad beer joint. Mm-hmm. On the left, they called, what was that? Oh, I remember that, but. Pardon? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, we had post office, the Rendezvous, and high school. And on the right, going up the hill, I had doctor's office. And we lost all that stuff as the flood came through.
Didn't you say there was a hotel there too?
Pardon?
Boarding house or something? Or
Pardon?
A boarding house or a hotel?
No, we had a jail. Daddy Cummins put you in there for a day. That's right. Yeah. Daddy Cummins was our mayor.
And I've always wondered where was something called Hillbilly Park?
Hillbilly Park. Well,
That was a real thing.
yeah, that was just down on the right, on some land there on the right, before you get to the underpass.
Okay.
Over on the right. My mother and dad.
Famous acts used to come.
My mother and dad would go to that every Sunday. And I was in the service at that time, but I got to go some too. I served in 1945 to 48. Said that, I guess. Daddy built the Licking Valley Swimming Club. Most of you know about that. It was right down behind his house there. And it was a nice place. There's a picture or two there with it. I brought some pictures so people could see some of that. And then in 1964, I built the house back here now that's been cleaned up, you might say. Looking better, ain't it, Jeff? Yeah. And in 67, I decided to build me a truck garage. And that is Flowers Hall today. The truck garage turned out to be more than a truck garage. But I've had many, many bluegrass shows there. I've had all kind of square dances there. I've had all kind of meetings and parties and weddings and everything. It's been good for our community.
All of my elementary school things where we just sang our Christmas songs.
Yeah.
They were always there. It was like one of the favorite things that I remembered. And then when it got moved, I remember being like, oh no, they're not at Flowers Hall. So
Did you get to wear those little antlers made out of your handprints?
probably did. We did it for all kinds of things.
Oh my goodness.
Functions for
Yeah,
field
they
trips.
all
So
went.
it was a cool place for. Just as a kid, it was a nice thing for the community.
Grandpa, how did your dad, having 15 children, decide to build a public swimming pool?
Well, he had to go to bed a lot, I know that.
Well, I mean, I know how he had 15 children.
That wasn't the question,
But, I mean, how did he go from, like, let's build a public swimming pool? Like, how did he do that?
I don't know.
Daddy could make money not even working. I don't know how he done it. I can tell you many, many things he done. Built tractors and
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Well, he had like 16 patents.
Well, no, that was Giffen, I think.
Oh, okay.
That was Giffen, yeah. But my great-grandfather was very inventive. He invented a push lawn mower,
So
which
maybe
is highly dangerous.
can that be passed down? So maybe his dad was having that revenue coming in too, right?
Well, I think that was Giffen that had all the patents. But my grandfather my great-grandfather, his father had various jobs. And what always amazed me, I don't want to steal your story, but it's just the fact that we never had a lot of money, but we were always able to do a lot of things. It
That's
took
right.
a lot of faith, and it was an idea.
well,
And you just moved forward and you built a swimming pool. And it was always places for community gathering, whether it was Flowers Hall or a swimming pool, or donating money for land for the Little League Park. It was always about gathering people together. Just very community involved.
yeah, he done a lot. He was a good man and knew how. Knew how to make kids too.
Needed the help.
The service stations I had down here, like I say, was moved down on the corner by Helsers. Then I bought it. Then Tom Fitzsimmons moved in and he came to me and he said, Chester, I'd like to have a dentist office. I said, well, we'll build one. So at the right of the station down there, we had a dentist office down there for years till Tom went to Marne. That was his first dentist office. So we had that accomplished. I got through most of this stuff, and if you got questions, you just. Some of the companies in Lower Hanover, now if you on the right here, the company shut down now. I don't know who owns that even. Somebody said it was sold and they backed out. But anyway, for years that was Acord Trucking Company. Now they hauled. Ooh,
Go again.
didn't pay electric bill, huh? Okay.
What did Acord Trucking Company haul? Was it just general haulage, or did they do
They hauled into Owens Corning, and I'm not sure what they hauled.
They hauled coal,
That's right, coal.
back when they had coal.
See, Bill's been around a while, he can remember. That's coal, that's right, Bill. I remember that. Yeah.
Got the right people in the room tonight, I tell you.
I went through most of this stuff. I don't know. There's probably a lot of things here that you could ask me. I could probably tell you. Licking Valley, Mesquite.
That was about the old parades that used to happen.
Pardon?
The old parades that used to happen here in the village.
Every year.
How did they get started?
I didn't hear what she said.
Parades.
The parade.
Oh, I started the parades and have a lot of pictures of parades. But that's after we started the fire department. We had a parade once a year. It was different then because we didn't have no money and we had to make money. So we'd have a homecoming, then we'd have a big parade, and that's how we raised money to pay for the fire truck. Yeah.
How did you get kids to enter the parade?
Pardon?
How did you get kids to enter into the parade?
Well, one time I gave $100 out. I told them I want 100 bicycles. And I gave them all $1 a piece, and I had 100 bicycles. Yep, I remember that one. Crazy stuff. There's probably things I'm forgetting here that I didn't have wrote down. If you ask me questions, I can tell you.
Well, I have a question for you, Chester. I mean, Hanover being where it is, at one time or another, I remember as a boy when Mom would take us to F&R Lazarus in Columbus. That was a big trip.
Yeah.
We all had to get dressed up in suits and ties, and I mean, you didn't go anywhere unless you.
Yeah, state fair. State.
But for you living here, what was the trip to Newark like? Was that, I mean, that was a booming place years and years ago. Was that like a big deal to get to go to?
Yeah, to us it was. Yeah.
You know, like a movie theater, you go or something like that.
Yes. Yes.
Us kids never got to go anyplace. We stayed home all the time.
Now, at 19. See, let me think here. When did I build back there? In 19.
This?
No, my home. I get mixed up on time.
The one you're living
99, I sold the hall and I went back and built that house. When I built the house, we was digging in the back and I dug up an Indian. This is her pictures. I had the high stake come out, and they got all over her body but two little pieces. And her body is over at high state in a box. There were some pictures there? Okay.
And a horse too, apparently.
That had to be somebody pretty important to be buried with a horse. Chief's daughter or something like that?
Unless if that's how she got it.
It's very low.
Well, they usually bury it like over time and stuff like that. Were there more? Was it just one? Like, did they keep looking for more? Was it a burial site or were there more bones?
Do you have a picture of them there?
Yeah, there was only one set of remains. And I
Here.
was curious if there were more pictures of other bodies.
I think that's
Yeah, there's
Just one body.
right here.
Yeah, this is the day.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I was going to, with the pages being loose, I was going, I think
I
there's,
was wondering how I see, no, you were saying he's building the house 99. It was like the 80s.
what does this stand for? Flower something. The Fartco.
Let me see.
FAR, Fartco, what does that stand for?
Where is it? The site watch test. It's that would probably be
Yeah.
the flyer. It's hard
Flower
to spell.
something or another.
Yeah.
Mhm.
State Route 668 was rebuilt with concrete in the 30s, a WPA job. How far into Hanover Village did that come, or where did it start? Do you know?
Where Hanover Village starts?
Where did the 668 did that go all the way through Hanover Village?
Yeah.
And was
Well, it was a state highway, like I said. It went through and up over the hill, down the other way, into Coshocton.
Yeah, but when it come out up by Giffens that way, was that part of that WPA job? Do you know?
I don't know that. Yeah.
You do know though, your brother Kenny and you guys worked and you built Seven Hills Road.
Well, kind of big snow, even 668 on top of the hill. They would hire Daddy and my brother and them to shovel snow. We used to have snow drifts on Seven Hill Road. It drifted solid across. And on 668 up there, it'd get so high, deep, people couldn't get through the road. So they hired us, and we'd go up and shovel a road through so people could get through. And that was,
Did you build the base of that road? Your brother Kenny, Donna, do you remember that? He said that you guys would go down to the creek and you would dredge up rocks and you would haul it to Seven Hills.
well, it wasn't down to the creek. The people lives right over on the corner. That used to be a big bank of gravel in there, and we shoveled it by hand. And I've always thought about making a gravel wagon so the kids could see what it used to be. You used to pull the tailgate out, and then take a side off, and then you'd take a tube of six out, and dump it. That's where you dump it. Then you put that back together and go get another load. That's the way we hauled gravel for years. He probably remembers that, some of you. Yeah. I forget some things today. I'll be 96 years old, so forgive me. Not as good as I used to be, and I can't see as good as I used to. I don't know why. I'm getting punished, I guess.
Well, 96 years, you sure have seen a lot.
Yeah, I know. I've been blessed by God and appreciate everything. I love everybody. Always had a saying, I always said, live and let live. I think that's a good saying. Live and let live.
Chester, I was telling these girls earlier that how many of us still live right here in Hanover. There's been only two families that moved away. It's Pasquilla and up on Haynes.
Well, Roy moved to Kirkersville, and we lost him. And then,
But we all
but-
stayed right here. Weird.
well, there's only 11 girls and 5 boys. And let's see, Walter and I's the only 2 living, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost Kenny, my brother Roy, and Roy Jr.
I moved here in 1964, built over there behind the gas station. They called this Poseyville, the people over there. Instead of Flowers Edition, they call it Poseyville.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, well, that's about all I got here right now. There's a lot more probably if you just ask me questions. I think I can answer them, but
Chester, can you tell us about the store, the site where the Family Dollar sits now, what it was, and you know?
That was a great big grocery store.
yeah, in fact, that was a big hill in there. And we had the hill haul back through where Brandon Hale and them lives a little bit low. We hauled all the dirt back in there. But it was a pretty good hill, all higher than this building. Yeah.
It was called one time Betty's Market, Betty Will's Market. And then, what other?
Jane and Jim had it for a while. My
Sister had it for a while.
brother-in-law.
But it was a big grocery store. I mean, they had a meat counter with sliced, sliced lunch meat and different stuff.
I have a question. I'm just trying to picture what it looked like back then, because from how much dirt that you said that you had moved, I feel like this wasn't a valley before.
No.
Like, so it was.
I've moved tons and tons of dirt all my life. Building the additions, I have a scraper that picks up 5 tons of dirt. And that's how I moved it.
Was it as valley as it is now, or was it much more like the terrain?
It was just a big bank there, and we took it off. Made it level with the rest of it because it was too steep.
That'd be cool to see pictures.
Think of anything else, Nicole? You've been around a long time.
She's heard a lot of stories of it.
I mean, I just know some like funny stories. You missed a lot of school because your priorities were to, back then was to help your family,
Yeah.
wasn't to go to school and.
Yeah.
You're right.
I think that was the generation. My great grandfather, he dropped out, I want to say 8th grade to go take classes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You started Flowers Hall, and then you ended up somehow becoming the president of the music association,
Yeah.
and you went to Nashville.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah.
I still have some bluegrass shows.
So do you play an instrument? Was that him or was that someone else?
Pardon?
I saw a magazine cover.
So that was our ex-mayor,
Oh, okay.
Jim Fullen,
Oh,
and
okay.
he played.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to have some more music here, some more gatherings.
Yeah. I got another show coming up. The Lewis family, which is a great group, been coming since 1951.
When are they coming?
They're coming back April 14th.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got the contract from them. Yeah.
Yeah, down there.
West Flowers Hall.
Yeah. Well, listen, I won't take your time. It's getting late, I know.
Well, Chester, this has been fantastic. I know it's been a long
Anything?
time.
What else you want to know?
Okay, I didn't know that.
I weigh 200 and 5'8".
We want to know where you buried all the money. That's what
Well,
Is it all those mountains of dirt?
I'm going to let the grandchildren dig that up.
Well, thank you so much. I know it's getting late, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired, but
Yeah, I know.
don't want to wear you out.
I get tired easier
Thank you all.
than I used to. If I
Thank you, too.
if I think of some more, I'll write it down.
Yeah, well, you could do this again.
Well, I think this is important to know what used to be.
Uh-huh.
What made community for you,
Yeah.
family, years ago,
Well,
and what you got ahead of.
This here Flowers Addition was 25 acres of ground owned by Mary Hamilton, and I worked for her. And she said, "You want to plant corn?" So I plowed it and plant corn in it, and took care of it. And then I'd walk down through the corn, and there's a big tree down there on this side of my hall. And I milked the cows.
That's when we lived right beside the pizza shop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Chester, let me ask you one more question. What is one thing that you would like for the town to be, what do you want it to be known for?
Pardon?
What do you want the town of Hanover to be known for? Like if you had to pick one thing that you want it to be known for, what would that be?
Well, Hanover's old.
Happy people.
It's over 200 years old. I don't know whether you knew that or not. And I think Hanover will grow into a big town. I really do. Because we got too much land north, this way and this way, sitting there that somebody's going to grab. And so I think Hanover will become a pretty good sized town in the future. I probably won't be here, but maybe in another form, I don't know.
What would be the single, if there was a single to describe it or for where it should be? Your vision of it.
I didn't quite hear what she said.
Like where do you see the town going? Or you want it to be the place where families grow up? Or you want it to be known for the music? What is something that you would want
Yeah,
the direction of the town?
yeah, no, sit down a minute. I'm probably 96, I'm getting old.
Oh, you need a new shirt.
I love the shirt.
Oh, yeah, the boys got me that, I shouldn't even wear it.
Is that your birthday for your shirt?
May?
Yeah, no, did the shirt.
Yeah, that's when they give it to me in
We
May,
had a party back.
at my birthday, yeah.
And I was thinking, that looks like the shirt that he must have gotten on his 95th birthday. With that great
But
silver.
I also, I think for the town, like, obviously you didn't let it die because it was very close to dying, you know, when the flood came through and you had the opportunity to revive it a couple of times. And, I saw something on the clock that you wrote, or you wanted it to never run out of time. So I think, I guess longevity, like you just wanted to live, continue living on. So I just think that's kind of cool. But I think that's kind of what when I think of Hanover, just by looking at those things, it's just the community is so tight, I guess, that they just want to let the town stay here. Like the town refuses to let it go away.
Yeah, cohesion. Yeah, persistence and cohesion.
I think that's cool. So thank you for not giving up on the town. Otherwise we wouldn't be here.
Yes, that's right. I wouldn't be here, that's for sure.
I can't think of anything else I can tell you. There's probably a lot more.
Well, we'll save it for the next time.
That's right.
Okay.
Next time we'll hear more from Donna. I'll bet she's got some stories. Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's been around a while.
Just a little while.
Well, thank you so much.
I got sisters that's 90-year old, you know.
We do.
Well, thank you, Chester.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Youngest one is 75.
Yeah.
Rich and Lena's store, because they lived in their house at one time.
Billy.
Good job. I'll take this right from you right now. We're all done.
I'm not a very good speaker.
Oh, it was good.
I'm just too old to speak.
It's very good. And this is sounding even better now we got all the audio.
And they thought it was
Well,
good
what do you think?
to be able to.
Bill, long time.
And
I said, this
Now, have you been to the website?
there was also a road.
No, my son
Land is
actually,
drainage goes
I
or-
didn't even know there was a, I didn't even know there was a budget. So my son, they got rich in there too.
So, yeah.
Gonna lose them. Hate to, but
So every time we go to Easton shopping, we
Hollister.
see Hollister.
this here was, I get this too.
There were 4,000
Village, but I'm
acres.
working for
T-shirts.
See you guys, thank you for
I
staying
work
here.
for Cadillac, and they just do this, and I go down
Another one. You're probably in bed now.
Not quite, pretty close.
My
Yeah, you can read that.
Well, mine too.
Okay, let's.
Kind of sets the stage.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to look, it's, you know, obviously it's not on
It's wonderful.
So we are actually,
I have one.
here, because I'm from there, my house is still
They'll love it, and you told us today,
Yeah.
4 houses, right here.
I mean, we have everything from, yard, yeah, we have yard setbacks, size of houses.
So they're, well, I'm going to weird deal. I got done the road to
He started there,
I'm trying to
go by there.
So,
I don't mind going to,
I would say,
so it's from here, up to the corner where the trailer park is.
I just kind of.
I think there's too much.
It is hard, yeah.
Yeah, the other night I fed. Because there's a trailer there, there's a yeah, and then there's another, you know, next to that.
Yeah, I think,
Maybe
Howard
before.
I had my kids go
So that's how
nowadays, so that way it's
That's
not
just so
very.
All right, see you later, Phil.
I just, it's
Don't have
like,
the first experience.
you're going to build my house.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Well, I do understand that. You wanna drink water?
Yeah, all of that just
That would
came
be a
together.
good idea.
No, no, no,
We already had stuff
I work
before,
from home.
so we already had a
Thank
contract.
Oh, okay, I do all that.
Once a waitress,
I do all
always a
their
waitress.
insurance, where's the finance?
Oh, okay, update it.
Thank you so much. I didn't know I'm gonna head home.
I can't believe it's 9 o'clock.
I know.
That was a real, I can't believe you were speaking for almost an
We
hour.
grow as individuals, we grow as a village, and then
Wow,
we fine tune what we've got.
good job, because
I
that's,
just realized
that's not
something's out
easy
there
at
that you
95
haven't heard
and a
about.
half.
Well, when you can't
Tender
remember.
growth, like bearing.
It's just the
those-
standing
well,
part.
like
is-
that-
Ask questions, I can answer questions from
Yeah.
there.
So those
And
are
I
things
can
that,
tell.
you know, until we are confronted with some.
Well, I wanted you to go through old Hanover, what you had there, the stores and you got a library,
Huh?
right? Yeah, library,
um,
drugstore, all those things.
We had, well, the old drugstore, and then we had a new drugstore up here with it. Yeah.
I remember that being pharmacy when we moved out here.
Together for
And
us.
how many, but when there were still stores in Hanover before the charter was lost,
We can have half
How
of
many?
stuff that.
How many people?
That-
Your vision of the
Two
future.
stores and
What you want in the future, but it's
well,
really,
100 people.
Man,
it's not small.
2 stores for 100 people is a lot of commerce for a small.
It's a foundation for a conversation.
It does, but that's, it's interesting that when there were only 100 people here,
So we actually have a
there were
website
2 stores, and now there's 3,000 people here, and what do we have, 6 stores? Not much,
I'm not trying to think, I'm just curious.
not too many,
Station.
less than 10.
We'll give you the information.
And the gas station counts, and, you know, but
What I was
what's in the
wondering,
little,
okay, so
little
obviously we can't
mall,
control
it's
that,
not, that's it.
Yeah.
the
And you
first,
wouldn't
We're
want that
hurting,
big.
we're hurting for grocery store, but
Yeah.
one of the
Maybe
towns
we'll
that
have
was
to-
living up in North Dakota,
Some other
they
things, so.
had,
We are.
yeah.
basically, it was
We'll see.
storefront on the bottom, and then
Yeah.
like
Are you going home yourself tonight?
So,
Yeah.
that way
Okay.
you
A
get